Creating the right mindset is one of the most important mental skills of any athlete or poker player. I use the word creating on purpose. It means that mindset is not something we are born with or stuck with for the rest of our lives, like eye color or nose shape. Okay, some celebrities prove that you can change nose shape too. But anyway, building the right mindset is a skill we can learn, like driving a car or a foreign language. And here we come to a very interesting question. Can we say that one mindset is better and another is worse? Can we objectively say that one poker player's approach to the game is more effective than another's? Can we even evaluate something as intangible as mindset? And the answer is yes, we can. We owe a lot here to Professor Carol Dweck, who over several decades of scientific research has been studying the mindset of successful people in various fields. Her studies were conducted on several continents and in various age and race groups. It turned out that successful people in different fields have some common elements of mindset which you will soon learn. Before that happens, it is also important to define the word success, because I do not mean celebrities here, but above all, people who are statistically more effective than their peers or competitors, such as the best students, athletes, the most successful poker players, happy couples, or the most effective managers and CEOs. In her book Mindset, which by the way I strongly recommend you to read, Professor Dweck stresses that our success is not dependent solely on talent, but above all on commitment and approach to challenges and failures. There are two basic types of mindset, fixed and growth. In this table, you can see the comparison of main characteristics of people with growth and fixed mindsets. People with a fixed mindset are convinced that everything in our lives depends on talent and innate qualities. Very often, we describe these people as talented but lazy. And I can confirm that from my coaching experience that whenever I work with somebody who describes himself as talented but lazy, there's always an issue with growth and fixed mindset there. People with fixed mindset think that most of their lives is about confirming their value. These are people who perceive failure as something bad and threatening their sense of worth. Therefore, they try to avoid challenges and situations where something could go badly for them. People with a growth mindset have a completely different approach. They believe that the basic features can be developed through work. They think that despite the differences in potential, each of us can improve. They willingly take on various challenges because failure doesn't define their value, but is just another step on the path to self-improvement. One of the most frequent asked mental game related questions is how to get out of the comfort zone. Of course, each individual case would be different, but the significant part of the solution is to adopt a growth mindset. Studies show that adopting a fixed mindset causes the respondents to feel anxious about taking on challenges and doubt the value of their work. On the other hand, people with a growth mindset are not afraid of failures or mistakes and are happy to take on new challenges. They know that they can continue to grow, so they don't care about failures. The key element here is the perception of one's own skills. According to attitude theory of Professor Dweck, we can perceive our skills in two ways: as innate traits that must be constantly proven, or as variable traits that can be developed in the process of learning and improving. People with a growth mindset simply learn, take on new challenges, and constantly try to improve. On the opposite side, people with a fixed mindset are focused on constantly proving themselves and avoiding challenges. I will emphasize it once again. The key is the perception of our own skills as traits that can be developed. Therefore, when thinking about the most important advantages of winning poker players, such as determination, discipline, analytical thinking, or mastery, you should think of them as features you can shape and refine. Each of us is born with different potential, but that doesn't change the fact that this potential is variable and depends on the effort we make. Regardless of the level you are currently at, you can develop each one of your skills. This approach is what characterizes successful people. Of course, I don't deny that something like talent exists. Some of us simply have better potential than others. In my opinion, talent is maybe about 10% of your overall result, and rest is hard work. Of course, if two people put the same amount of work, the one with better talent would be in favorable position. And that's why I think that the best way to manage your career is to find a field which suits your natural potential and to put a lot of hard work in order to be the best version of yourself in that field. Studies conducted by Professor Dweck have repeatedly proven that people with a growth mindset are much more productive at work, learn more quickly, are more resilient, and achieve better results in the long run than people with a fixed mindset. Particularly interesting for me were studies that compared two groups of students with very similar exam results. Then, as part of the experiment, one of two groups was taught the growth mindset and the other the fixed mindset. After several weeks, the group with the growth mindset began to achieve better results in learning and on exams. Similar studies have been repeated many times, always with the same effect. This was because the people with the growth mindset were more diligent, persistent, and eager to learn new things and take up challenges. It turns out that adopting the right mindset towards the challenges that await us translates into the results we achieve. So, whether you like it or not, successful people are characterized by the growth mindset. Jim Collins and his team conducted a 5-year research project. The aim of this project was to find out how companies go from good to great. One thing they found was that the great companies have leaders with growth mindset. In the late 1980s, IBM was in trouble. The culture was filled with people trying to be better than each other, and they had a culture of smugness and defending a personal status. That culture was the exact opposite of learning and growth. In 1993, they asked Louis Gerstner to turn things around. He was a leader with a growth mindset. He encouraged the teamwork and got rid of the fixed mindset culture. Within the next 9 years, IBM increased in value by 800%. Successful businesses need to have leaders, managers, and employees with a growth mindset. Successful poker players need to have growth mindset as well. In the book Mindset, Professor Dweck describes another very interesting experiment. In Hong Kong, classes are held in English. Not all students, however, are fluent in this language. Those who are less proficient are asked the following questions. If the university offered courses for students who need to improve their English, would you participate? The mindset of the students was then studied. It turned out that the vast majority of people with a growth mindset were willing to take part in such a course. faith in development and effort meant that they were willing to take every opportunity to learn something new. On the other hand, students with a fixed mindset were not especially interested in such classes because they were afraid to show their shortcomings in front of others. This example perfectly illustrates how different mindsets will bring about different actions and results. I'll repeat that because it's super important. Different mindset leads to different actions, and this leads to different results you achieve in the long run. Now I have a very interesting story which shows how people with fixed mindset are obsessed with looking good in other people's eyes. It's a funny situation that took place in a large online Polish poker forum. A beginner player won a satellite to a live tournament in Czech Republic. It would be his first live tournament and he was leaving in a week. So he set up a new thread asking how to best prepare for the live tournament. A very reasonable question showing the player's openness and his willingness to learn. Asking smarter people for advice and learning from them is definitely a growth mindset quality. However, the first answer that appeared in that thread was the most interesting one. It sounded something like this: buy a hoodie and learn how to juggle the chips to make you look professional. And that's exactly the answer that best reflects the mentality of people with fixed mindset. They are not particularly interested in development or learning. They don't want to study strategy, body language, or do some other sort of preparation. Their goal is to prove their worth and keep up appearances. Their greatest fear is that they might look bad to others. Consequently, instead of learning, they focus mainly on looking professional. That will be a big simplification and very extreme example, but in this case, a player with growth mindset will spend this week on getting tips, learning strategy, and maybe learning some body language general advices. However, a player with a fixed mindset will spend that time in shopping mall, buying a hoodie or watch that will make him look professional. He will also watch some random YouTube videos to get some tips on how to juggle chips to look like a pro. Moreover, after the tournament, the guy with a growth mindset will be looking for advices on what he can improve the next time. The player with fixed mindset will focus on maintaining a good image, for example, by using all his energy to tell bad beat stories to his friends.